Hello, it is Monday again. Heidi Foy here with Bullfrog Creatives. So there's lots of things going on. This is a real busy week to be checking out and talking about rodeo, but I mean, we're all doing it anyway. It's just because of the time of year. So I might as well do it during my day job too. So a couple of housekeeping things before we go into this week's Outside the Arena. We will be back with NFR Hangover, the broadcast NFR Hangover, and we're going to change up our co-host and our host a little bit this year. Jim Boy is actually going to be in Vegas, and so he's not going to tune in with us every morning, but he's definitely going to join us in the later part of the week. So I'm working on putting that schedule together. For those of you that follow regularly on our social media pages, you'll see some teasers coming out pretty quick. I'm getting pretty excited about that. I did hope that I would be in Vegas live to do this, but we'll keep doing it. We'll keep doing it until we get there, and we will, trust me. So until we get those NFR Hangover teasers out, you guys will just have to be patient. It's not one of my strong characteristics either. Don't worry. So this week on Outside the Arena, we are going to chat about a little college rodeo and the Southern region. Stay tuned. All right, so I'm back, and this week I have Dr. Al Wagner from Texas A&M joining us. So I didn't realize this. I'm sure we've talked about this before, but I've slept since then, so you're going to have to forgive me for that. I think the older I get, the more acceptable that excuse gets, so I'll just keep using it. Dr. Al has been with Texas A&M for 45 years and has been coaching, college rodeo coaching, for 25 of those years. That's a whole lot of kids and cats to direct around.
Yeah, those kids are what makes it all worthwhile doing. They help keep me young because, as you can tell, I'm not very young anymore. And but my health is terrific, and so I'm very blessed. And I love dealing with the kids. It's a fun.
So I know just boarding horses and having college kids out at our place, we have a tendency to feed them a lot of meals, primarily because I asked for a discount everywhere I went when I was in college. So I always ask, like, what are you guys eating tonight? Come on in for dinner. How many meals have you served your college kids over the years?
Probably not all that many on that end of it, but bought a few meals, but not necessarily me personally serving them.
That's funny. Don't tell my coach where I used to keep my horses. They used to feed me a lot too. So we won't tell him that you're not supposed to do that.
Oh, it's fine to do that.
So let's talk a little bit. Give me a little bit of a comparison about the fall rodeos this year versus last year. What did you guys see? Was there a difference? Did you get to rodeo?
Absolutely. We weren't walking on pins and needles at each event. We did do some, still did the distancing thing some, but we weren't required to wear masks at any of them. And we're through 5. We've had 5, and it's just been such a breath of fresh air. I just can't. There's no comparison.
Yeah,
really.
For sure. So did you guys? I know there were a handful of regions that did not have fall rodeos last year. Were y'all one of them?
No, we don't.
Okay.
No, we didn't. We had all 10 of ours last year, and it was the year before when the thing first started that we lost our last 2 rodeos of the year. But so we only had 8 that year. But that's the year they didn't have CNFR.
Yeah. So talk to me about, and something I talked to Tyree about also last week was I guess, what you anticipate or what you hope for with the change of the guard. Jim Dewey is going to be officially taking his new position January 1st after this upcoming board meeting in Vegas. I guess, what are you hoping to see? What are you hearing? I mean, I guess, talk to us about that.
I'm hoping to see just continuation of what we've been doing, and I think that's going to happen. As you well know, Jim has been running the CNFR for ever since Roger took over, because he did it for a few years himself, and Jim just does a marvelous job. He has got a wonderful relationship with the people of Casper, and that's real key, as you well know. And then with the national office, the ladies just think the world of him. And I go back many years with Roger ever since I started. And so 25 plus years I've been, but I've known Jim for a long time also. And I think he's going to be excellent. And I look forward to working with him.
That's great. Talk to me a little bit about, last week we talked to the student director and the student president. What is your role, I guess, as a faculty director for the region?
Well, basically, I met every one of them, obviously. We help enforce the rules, the vest rule, the dress code, work with the secretary in that event, along with the student director, and then our event directors help us with that end of it as well. Just want to make sure everything goes smoothly. Each person putting on their rodeo is responsible, obviously, for the production and getting it going. But we're just there to help that particular coach if they need it. Most of them are, doing a great job and know what to do and been involved, and so we're there to make sure everything goes smoothly. There's some paperwork at the end of the event that has to be filled out and sent in. We're responsible for getting the judges or working with the coach that's on the rodeo to get secure judges. So that's another part of our things that we do.
So talk to me about the judges. I mean, is there some type of training or something that the judges we use at the college level, do they go through, or are they professional rodeo judges?
A good part of them are. I don't know if you remember or not, but a few years back we went with all PRCA judges, and that went on for about maybe 3 years or so, and then they were actually appointing the people, their judges and everything, and it was okay. But I think it was more than they wanted to do. And so they turned it back to the faculty director and whoever's putting on the rodeo. And I'd say still, I bet 80% of our judges are PRCA judges as well. They also, many of them have been judging for a long time. A lot of Cowboy Professional Rodeo Association, CPRA, rodeos, UPRA rodeos. They do get to the judges school. That schools want to, they try to keep up to date, and by going to those schools, because we do in college rodeo have a few things a little different. They don't have goat tying in the PRCA, and of course we do now in breakaway. So that's great. And but just some issues with the rough stock and being sure they know what. That they're on their game for judging the rough stock, and they go to these clinics are held throughout the United States at different locations, and so once they it's been maybe 5 or 6 years since they've been in one, they'll go for a refresher, and that works out real well.
Perfect. So talk to me briefly. I mean, I know you're probably a little biased in your region, but talk to me about who, maybe some up and comers in the Southern region, and who we should keep our eye on for a road to the CNFR.
Well, we're it's a good place to start. I can speak obviously with my own group.
Mhm.
I had I had several incoming freshmen. Maddie Uthier, who's won the All-American in the breakaway, and won the event they had the end of October in Vegas, $60,000 worth, and
Wow.
she's been a real pleasure. Then another young lady named Madeline Richards, who I recruited as a goat tire, and by golly, she breakaway ropes and runs barrels as good as she ties goats. But she's a real contender for the all around right now. Another lady that's leading the barrels for the region has won 4 out of the 5 rodeos in the barrels, and would have won the other one probably, but her horse had an abscess and she couldn't run in that rodeo.
Yeah, but she's got quite a commanding lead as far as points are concerned.
Yeah, she's still good, and in fact, we've got Aggie's the top 3 barrel racers here. Or I have a tendency to have a bunch of barrel racers, that's for sure. So we're leading the women's team. Texas A&M Commerce is right behind us, and on the men's side, McNeese is doing well, as well as Texas A&M Commerce. They are just doing really good, and Pinola's right in there, and so there's some good ones. Bradley Miller, who happens to be the son of the coach at Sam Houston, is a real contender for all around. He rides bulls and bareback horses and ropes, calves, and team ropes, and just does it all.
Yeah,
and he's quite an athlete and fun to watch.
Very cool. So when will you start back up?
We start back up the very last weekend in January.
Goodness.
We don't start school here until the 19th of January, and it's like the very next weekend we start up. So I'm going to have we're going to have to be really hustling to get those transcripts to Claudia. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's always fun to talk. I rodeoed in the Big Sky region, and I live in the Central Rocky Mountain region, and we're still buried in snow that time of year. So it's always fun to talk to other regions. Kind of makes you jealous because you wish you weren't buried in snow right now.
Well, I don't know. You probably don't realize it, but last year we had to cancel one because of snow and ice.
I remember an early one.
And he was always the first weekend in February, and he moved to May, and he's stuck with that May date now. So he doesn't want to go through that again.
Yeah, no, I don't blame him. That's pretty unheard of for y'all to get snow, I think.
Well, that kind, and it was like 6 degrees, and we don't get that kind of. That just
nobody's
doesn't
prepared for that.
No.
Listen, we're supposed to get it, and we're not prepared for it. Yeah.
We don't know how to drive. Yeah.
Well, sure. Al, let's talk real quickly about. I know it's a little early for recruiting, but what does your team look like for next year? Do you still have some slots that you're wanting to fill?
Well, I kind of used up a lot of my scholarship money for this year, and so I've got a few coming in, and but it's I'm going to have to wait another year to because I've promised and committed to the scholarships for those that I brought in this year, and so we're gonna hang on.
So did you have a lot of people stay and use that extra year, that the COVID year?
Yes, we did. Or if they didn't stay here, they maybe went somewhere because they'd finished their bachelor's, and they maybe went somewhere else for a master's degree, so that they were able to utilize that. Yeah. Did
that make a difference in your scholarship money?
It did, because there was those that stayed that obviously was, even though I'd given them their 4 years worth. But we've still committed to give them another year. So that is true, because all our scholarships are from endowments and so forth. The university basically doesn't give us anything. Yeah. So anyway, but it's fine. It's good. We got good help for the kids, and we're going to be looking out. Then we also had another young man named Chance Little that's doing really well in the calf roping, as well as a young man named Boyd Hannegriff. And his
Perfect.
father was a rodeo coach at Sam Houston at one point in time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always interesting. The more conversations you have, the smaller the degrees of separation become. I mean, I think it's just such a tight-knit family across the United States that you always know somebody that knows somebody.
Exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just real pleased. Got a young man that's coming, transferring in this spring from junior college, and coming in that went to the CNFR last year. So I'm looking forward to having him come in. So
Perfect.
we're good. So
well, I will stay in touch with you. We look forward to following up with everybody after the winter board meeting. Hopefully I can get Jim Dewey on here after that meeting to maybe get a little bit of direction and maybe a sneak peek at what we can expect. Thank you, Dr. Al. Travel safe, and send your wife our blessings. We hope that she is feeling better.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The prayers have been appreciated. That's for
Yes,
sure.
sir. Yes, sir. You guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You too, and Merry Christmas too.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
While we're at it. All right. Bye-bye.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in live. If you are watching this on the replay, please send us a message if you have any questions. If there's a college that you want to hear from, or heck, even a student athlete that you'd like to check in on, that'd be funny. Parents checking in on their kids. That would be funny. Anyways, go ahead and message us if you have questions about college rodeo or the NIRA. How do I get involved with this school? How do I get in touch with this coach? That's what we're all about, is making those connections and building relationships. So shoot me a message. And stay tuned for some big announcements for NFR Hangover. We're going to announce our co-hosts and some of our special guests over the next few days. And you're going to want to tune in. Hopefully we'll have some giveaways. I mean, I'm not there, but it's going to feel like we are, because we're going to gather around the campfire and have a little BS session about each round. So you're not going to want to miss it. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Eat all the things and get back to the gym next Monday. We will see you next week.